Ready to shine inside out? Welcome to Polished Beauty Podcast, where ambition meets empowerment. We talk business, beauty, brain, body. I am your host, Dr. Daisy Ayim, triple board certified cosmetic surgeon and OBGYN. Let's get polished.
Now, let me introduce today's guest. She's a woman who truly defines resilience, purpose, and strength. Jenn Drummond is a mom of 7, a world record-holding mountaineer, an author, a speaker, a podcaster, and an entrepreneur. Let's go back a bit. In 2018, after surviving a near-fatal car accident, she realized that while we don't get to choose when we leave this life, we do get to choose how we live it. That life-changing moment set her on a path of adventure and self-discovery. When her then 8-year-old son dared her to climb Mount Everest, she took on the challenge and didn't stop there. Jenn went on to set a world record as the first woman to climb the 7-second summits, the second highest peaks on each continent. Her book, Breakproof, and her podcast, Seek Your Summit, inspire people everywhere to embrace challenges, lead themselves, and push beyond their limits. Today, we're going to dive into her incredible journey, the strength it took to get her there, and how she balances her many roles. Welcome, the extraordinary Jenn Drummond. Such an honor to have you with us today. Welcome to the show, superstar.
Hey. Thanks for having me today. Super excited to be here.
Excited is beyond.
Yeah, Jenn, I'm so excited to meet you too. Let's chat.
Let's chat.
So your story is the epitome of turning a life-altering event into a source of strength. Surviving a car accident that should have ended your life is unimaginable, yet you found a way to let that moment inspire this bold new direction, if you will. So how did you channel the trauma of that experience into motivation to live more authentically and adventurously?
Yeah, I think that accident happened for me, not to me. And it allowed me to reflect on my life and realize we're leaving. Like, this is not a game that we get to play forever. This life is ours. And I check up on myself. So if I don't love the person that I'm living as or showing up as or the things I'm doing, that's on me. That's not on anybody else. And so I used to follow the rules and people please and all that kind of stuff. And when that accident happened, it gave me permission to say, I'm sorry, I got to do this on my terms. If I disappoint you, I'll vibe my tribe and you're not part of it.
Wow. I mean, you've embraced challenges, and I love what you just said, but the fact that you've embraced these challenges that most of us would have never dreamed of facing, what mindset shifts did you need to make as a mother of 7 to take on the physical and emotional demands of scaling the 7-second summits? That's no easy feat.
Yeah, it's not easy, but I don't think life's designed to be easy. We get to find out what we're made of and who we are when we start pushing against our edges and challenging ourselves. And when we overcome or make something happen that we tried so hard for, that's what we celebrate. That's what gets us excited. For me, I realized I have 7 kids watching every move I make. And if I don't show them how to live a life that you're passionate about, you're excited about, that you can't wait to wake up to, where are they going to learn that?
Right.
Like, I'm demonstrating them how you do life. And so I realized I needed to do a better job at that.
Well, it's really impressive that you have 7 kids. Let's first clap to that, okay? That's an accomplishment on its own. How would you advise women out there that are trying to do something like this and balance family and life and not feel guilty or hesitant to pursue their dream?
Yeah. Well, I think first of all, you have to be honest with yourself and what you're capable of doing. I remember telling my coach, hey, here's my order of priorities: my family, my business, then my athletic pursuits. So on Sundays, I would give him my calendar and be like, okay, figure out how we're going to fit the athletic pieces in here. And he would look at my calendar and he's like, Jenn, you're going to be climbing a molehill at this rate because you need more time in here to make this work. And so when we sat down and we examined, I said, okay, you know what? This Zoom call I can do while I'm on a walking treadmill. I just have to have an AI technology plug in there, record the call. I don't need to be on camera and I can still understand what's going on. This soccer game that I'm going to, I'm going to bring a 12-inch step. I'm going to carry a backpack full of water bottles and I'm going to be on the edge of that soccer field doing my step ups so that I get an hour-and-a-half workout while I'm watching my soccer game. So is my training perfect? Absolutely not textbook training, but it worked for me because it allowed me to show up as the person I wanted to be and still do things I was interested in pursuing.
Wow, that's really clever.
So scaling the 7-second summits is a feat that few people in the world, man or woman, have accomplished. It's a physical, mental, and logistical challenge that requires unparalleled perseverance. What was the most challenging summit for you? And how did you push through the moments of doubt or fear while you were on that journey?
Yeah. So having a clear why, because you're going to have doubts and questioning it multiple times. It's not a, hey, I satisfied that answer. Now I'm good. It's like, hey, every single time something goes wrong, I'm like, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? So for me, I brought a picture of my children and I kept it in my jacket. So anytime something got hard, I could pull that photo out. I also had them write me notes and I wrote myself a note. So when I had big doubts, I could read that note to myself. I'm like, no, no, no. Here's why I'm doing this. Here's what I'm doing. Blah, 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 blah. And for me, I have 7 kids and there was 7 mountains. And so each child picked a mountain that was kind of theirs, that they researched and looked into and they owned. And so I was like, well, I can't disappoint my child. Like, he's like, this is his mountain. I need to climb it. So having that accountability piece really helps.
Mm. Wow. I mean, the more you talk, the more impressed I get. How do you recover from your summits? Once you've accomplished it and you're back home, how do you recover?
Yeah. So here's a key thing to all of us pursuing big things. We're away from our families. We feel that guilt and we want to get home immediately. I'm going to encourage you to lean against that and give yourself a day, at least, maybe a couple. So before I went on an expedition, I gave myself 1 or 2 days on the front end to get to that country, get settled, and kind of go into the mindset or the avatar that needed to climb this mountain. When the climb was done, I would give myself a day or 2 in that country before I came home to my family so that I could integrate all the experience and process it and understand the story that I was going to tell. Because when I get home, life's full on. There's no question. Like, I'm in full duty, mom's back, blah, 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 blah. And it's really hard to be fragmented. So I really needed to make sure that, okay, I'm done with this climbing expedition. Here's what I learned. Now I'm going into mom mode. Let's put on that avatar and show up as best as I can. And having those like wind up and wind down times really makes a difference.
Wow. It takes a village.
It does.
And your village starts your village starts your mindset. I really like the way you've broken down your mindset and approached the entire thing. So resilience is something that we talk about a lot in this podcast. How do you personally define it and what shaped your journey as a leader?
Yeah. So for me, resilience is being able to stay in your integrity no matter what happens. So things are going to push against us. And are you still able to show up the way you want to think the way they want to, or is something wearing you down and now you want to play small or you need to play big or whatever, right? So for me, it's always checking in with myself. Is this how I want to be? Is this who I want to show up as? Is this somebody I'm proud of? And those little teeny tiny check-ins, at first I had to set alarms on my phone. So I would set alarms in the afternoon and that alarm would go off and it'd be a question to myself. Okay, am I showing up as the person I want to be? Yes, I am. Or no, I'm not. What do I need to change so I can be more authentically me and not get lost into the flow of life that autopilot kind of sucks us into? So those are things that I do to stay resilient and just honor my path and stay true to myself.
Nice.
Very, very mindful. I love it. Beyond your physical achievements, you've turned your journey undoubtedly into a platform for inspiring others through your podcast, Seek Your Summit, and your book, Break Proof. So sharing your story has become just as powerful as living it, right? What's the most rewarding part of connecting with audiences around the world? And what do you hope people take away from your story?
Yeah. That's a loaded question. Okay. So what I hope people take away from my story most is being kind to myself makes me stronger. Like, the world's hard. Things come at us from all different directions. There's opinions. There's so much things that we need to do and decipher to make sure it's right for us, that if we're not our biggest cheerleader, no one else is going to be. So you have to start with that mindset of, if I'm kind to myself, supporting myself, helping myself, that's actually making me stronger for everything that I'm trying to pursue in this world. When I wrote the book Break Proof, what I did is I took each mountain and kind of extracted a business personal lesson from it to help you see it in black and white. And one of the biggest things that I take away from the journey still is big mountains take big teams. So if you have this big goal and this big pursuit and this big desire to bring to life, and you're doing it by yourself, and you're starting to negotiate with yourself or trying to be like, oh, I was being optimistic, I need to dial that back. I'm going to say, no, you don't need to dial that back, sister. You need to sit with yourself and say, who can help me? Because we're here to collaborate and help each other and get to the top of those mountains, metaphorical or physical.
So there are so many things about your story that I am so personally impressed by. And I just have a question for you. What's the one bold thing or bold moment in your life that has brought you where you are today? Just one. I've heard so many, but for you, if you had to say one thing.
So I did K2 was a climb that took me twice. I actually had 3 climbs that took me twice. And on K2, my first attempt, I lost the teammate in an avalanche. And I had the choice to continue to climb or to go back down and take care of my team. And I went down to take care of my team because the reality is the peaks will always be there. Who we show up as people is way more important than anything we'll ever achieve. And having that value system in place before you start any pursuit really helps you stay authentic to yourself and not get caught up in summit fever. So at first, of course, I was sad and I was devastated. And now I have to go back and climb this mountain again. And all the feelings that show up when things don't work out the way we want them to. Well, fast forward, and I'm going back to K2 the next year. And I'm not excited about it, to be honest with you. Now I know what to expect. And I had a bad memory that I have to face again. And when I go back, I got a phone call about a week before I had to leave for the climb. And it was an individual that I met the year before. And they said, like, hey, I'm training for the mountain. I don't quite have the gear. I don't have a team. Do you have any way that you can help me? I'm like, of course I can help you. Like, perfect. This is great. So when I went back to K2, I became the 3rd American female to summit that mountain. But more importantly, 30 minutes later, the first Pakistani female stood on top of her country's prized peak. The first Muslim female stood on top of this mountain in Pakistan and declared to the world what's possible. And so I think a lot of times we get caught in our failures and feel like they're heavy and this happened to me and woe is me, because we don't know the whole story. We don't know that if we continue, why we failed, because that failure allowed me to be a part of somebody else's story in a way I could have never imagined. So if you're running into an obstacle or a setback or a hardship, go forward, like find a way to continue your pursuit, because I promise you magic will unfold that you can't even comprehend at this moment.
We are officially at the end of our date. Jenn, it was so inspirational having you back on and chatting with you. I love that I got to tell your story with Dr. Daisy this time. Truly, you are remarkable.
Yes, kudos to you, mom of 7.
Let's do this.
I hope you enjoyed this episode and thank you for listening. Video recording of this episode will be featured on our YouTube channel, Dr. Daisy Ayim. We are also found on Instagram at Polish Beauty Podcast or at Dr. Daisy Ayim. Remember, new episodes drop every Wednesday, so stay tuned. Please like, share, follow.